There was a young man who seemed to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. His days were marked by restlessness, his nights by insomnia, and his mind never knew rest. He lived trapped in the past, brooding over mistakes and regrets, while at the same time fearing an uncertain future. Inside him was a constant storm of thoughts that never quieted. Friends saw him as distracted, family viewed him as distant, and he himself no longer knew who he was, lost between bitter memories and suffocating worries. One day, tired of this endless cycle, he heard about an old master who lived in a small, distant village. They said that this man had once been highly respected in the city, a wise man who had helped countless troubled hearts find balance again. Now he lived isolated among the mountains, surrounded by nature, in peace. The young man didn't hesitate. He decided he needed to see him, for he believed that perhaps the master held the key he had been searching for to silence the storm within his mind. The journey was not easy. It took days walking along narrow trails, sleepless nights in improvised shelters, and fatigue that tested his limits. But with each step, a spark of hope grew within him. Finally, upon arriving at the village, he found a small, simple house covered in flowers and greenery. On the porch, sitting in silence, was the master. His closed eyes conveyed calmness, and his face, even still, seemed to radiate serenity. The young man approached, and with a choked voice confessed, "Master, my mind cannot find peace. I am always stuck in the past or afraid of what is yet to come. Nothing calms me. Can you help me?" The master slowly opened his eyes. A slight smile appeared on his lips, and with a serene voice replied, "Come with me. I will give you a simple task. If you can complete it, you will understand what you seek." Calmly rising, the master took a clay cup and filled it to the brim with crystal-clear water. The liquid sparkled in the sunlight, and it only took a slight movement for it to spill. He handed the cup to the young man and said, "Walk to the entrance of the village and come back. But remember, do not spill a single drop." The young man was surprised. He expected to hear advice, profound words, perhaps even a mystical teaching. However, he received only a cup full of water. Even so, he decided to obey. He held the cup with both hands and began to walk carefully. The path was busy. Children played, merchants shouted offering goods, dogs barked loudly, and people hurried past him. But the young man kept his eyes fixed only on the cup. Each step was calculated, each breath controlled. The world around seemed to fade away, for all that mattered was not spilling the water. When he finally returned to the master, he breathed a sigh of relief and said, "I did it. I didn't spill a single drop." The old man smiled again and asked, "Very well. But tell me, did you notice the children laughing in the street? Did you hear the dogs barking? Did you see the faces of the people around you?" The young man, still panting, shook his head and replied, "No, master. I was completely focused on the cup." The master then approached, lightly touched the young man's shoulder and said, "That is the secret. When your mind is occupied only with the now, there is no space to get lost in memories or fears. You didn't think about the past. You didn't worry about the future. You were present, and in that state your mind found silence." The young man felt a shiver. The words penetrated deeply, as if they finally made sense. For the first time in a long time, he realized that the problem was not the life around him, but his inability to live in the moment. The sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange, and the birds returned to their nests. The young man stood still, observing that simple scene as if it were the first time he truly saw it. His heart slowed, his breathing became light, and within him blossomed a peace he had never experienced. He understood that serenity is not found in some distant place, but revealed when the mind anchors itself in the present. The master, noticing his change, said gently, "Remember, life will always try to distract you with noise, pain, and uncertainties. But the present is the only place where peace can exist. When your attention is here, the whole world transforms. The young man bowed his head in respect, thanked him silently, and began his journey back. However, he was no longer the same restless boy who had arrived there. He had transformed into someone capable of carrying within him the key to tranquility. And now, as you listen to this story, reflect. How many times are your thoughts trapped in the past or racing toward the future, preventing you from fully living this moment? Perhaps the answer you seek is already within you, just waiting for the silence of now. If this lesson resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments, leave a like so more people can receive this message, and subscribe to the channel to follow new stories that can change the way you see life. Until the next video, and remember, serenity always begins in the present.